Wait, hold on. Sorry, guys. Sitting on a pillow right now. Anyway, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm sorry I didn't get that before recording, but welcome back to the D&J podcast. I'm your host, Dillon, and with us you have Jenga Master Justin over here.
Actually, I'm Jamal Adams, but okay.
Because this man spent like a good 5 minutes trying to set up his phone to stand up, and it was the funniest thing ever.
I had some technical difficulties, you feel me?
But we are back for another episode, and this episode will be about 2020. Yes, I know for as bad as it's been, but we're halfway through the year, so we decided that we should recap the good and the bad things of what happened this year. For maybe it's for us personally, maybe it's for us in general. Well, not for us, but maybe things in general. But yeah, just really take the time and look back and hope that these next 5 to 6 months are a lot better. Because the first half, mm-mm-mm.
Well, if
Yeah,
you're prepared, I would appreciate if you would start, you feel me?
I was gonna say I have some stuff prepared, and my first topic would be create. Wow, creativity during quarantine. Now, what this means for me is that quarantine has definitely allowed me to just really find what I want to do in terms of just creation. And if you don't know me personally, I've been given resources from this program that I go to at my school that helps with film and media, stuff like that. And especially with this laptop, I could get like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, and music programs on the laptop. So this has been really helpful in terms of helping me find what I want to do. And I've been trying to make the most of it. I've made cover arts, I've made music, this podcast, YouTube YouTube videos for class, and it's all been healthy in terms of just giving me something to do in these drab times, because I could have very easily just went, oh my god, I'm in quarantine with nothing to do. But thankfully, I've been blessed with resources that keep me busy, and yeah, they help me gain success. I'd say like a week ago, somebody hit me up to do a cover art with them professionally, and um I went on an artist's Instagram story. They said that they needed the cover art done. I asked them what's the word. They didn't respond yet, but if they do, then that will also be something to look forward to. So creativity during quarantine has gone up, and I'm thankful for it.
Okay, this guy went on a whole tangent about how creative he's been during this whole quarantine stuff. I'm gonna well, first of all, again, I have absolutely nothing prepared. I'm legit just shooting from the hip with all this. So, I'm gonna hit y'all with probably the most ridiculous shit y'all have heard. But I am so glad my girlfriend broke up with me.
mm, elaborate, please.
That's a positive, bro. Like, listen, I know that it's like that shit sounds stupid because like how in any way is that ever really a good thing? But just seeing myself not get happier, so to speak, but seeing myself, I don't even know what to say about it. It's like I just feel like I, as an individual, improved after just allowing that relationship to just go. Like I felt like I was just constantly unhappy. and just wasn't in the right space of mind with who when I was with who I was with. So even though I may have been upset when it happened at first, looking back on it now, I'm just so glad that that's over and that I can move on to something else with somebody else eventually. And shit, I've got plenty of time to find somebody else. But one good thing that did come from her, this fucking box right here.
For audio listeners, it's legit a box with his name carved in it.
Like, this is probably the best thing she gave me.
Yeah. We won't say her name for obvious reasons, but I think there is a genuine thing about being able to look back on a relationship and be able to grow from it after you guys grow apart, because that's really the thing when people are in love or they love each other, is that after it happens, you're either soured that you don't have it or you're sad that you want it back. So I think there's a lot of maturity when it comes to you saying, you know what, even though it was sad at first, I think this was for the best. A lot of people wouldn't be able to accept that. So,
and honestly, it's just one of those things that, because we're still cool, as you know, anybody who's close to us now, me and her are still fine as friends. So I'm glad that we were able to just end on good enough terms that we could still be cordial and shit. So honestly, I'm out of something that I didn't want to be in, and well, not being in the first place. Obviously, I wouldn't have gotten in it if I didn't want to be in it from the first. But I just got out of something that went sour pretty quickly, and shit. Now now I've moved on from it.
Yeah. Well, that from the beginning it seemed negative, but it turned out positive. But let's transition to a negative. This is just two things grouped together here. I'd say misinformation and ignorance. There's been a lot going on. COVID-19 throughout the whole year mostly, and then Black Lives Matter protests that arise about, I'd say, a month ago and are still ongoing. There's just been a lot of misinformation in terms of what you should do for COVID-19, how, like, wearing a mask, or in terms of like police brutality. There's a lot of media coverage that has a evident bias that they're trying to paint certain people in a way to prove their point. And a lot of ignorance in terms of people who don't want to wear masks, people who think that, oh, COVID-19 doesn't exist and it's a ploy from the government to incorporate 5G, or just, or people who don't understand the Black Lives Matter movement or respond with all lives matter. It's just it's a whole lot of negative energy from it. And even though this is a negative, one thing I will say is positive about it is that a lot of people who are higher up are like losing followers, or friends are like losing friends on their social media because people disagree. But I think that's ultimately a good thing, because if they had that point of view, I don't think I would want them to be a friend, you know? So, yeah, 2020 has had a lot of misinformation and ignorance, and hopefully we can enlighten people and just spread information so we can all be more knowledgeable. That's really a goal.
Shoot, I'd say if I had to say a negative about this year, it would be about quarantine. Because I feel like this is definitely the most boring my life has been in a long ass time.
Hmm.
obviously everyone's life's been affected by it. Everybody's inside. And I feel like this is very much a cop out of an answer, but it's like that's why nothing extremely positive or extremely negative has really happened, in my opinion. Like, I haven't gone outside, haven't met new people, nothing. I've just been cooped up in the house for what, the past 3-4 months?
Essentially.
So it's like, I'd say, even though quarantine has allowed me to really, like, get closer, not closer, but interact more with, like, my immediate family, which is very nice because you know I love my mother. I love
Right.
me off. I love him too. And shoot, my dad came down here the other day and we had some fun. That doesn't sound right, but
Oh yeah, we had some fun.
like I didn't want to say did some stuff because that sounds just as bad. But
Nah.
yeah, it was a good time or whatever.
Oh yeah. Nah, nah, I get you. I get you.
So again, I feel like this quarantine thing really has just bogged everything down. And even though I probably wouldn't have done anything too crazy anyway, it's like I'm not somebody who's gonna go like fucking skydiving. Even though that sounds fun as shit to try. It's just it took like excitement from what would have probably been like a 7 and dropped it all the way to a 2. So I feel like I just got absolutely nothing done through the first half of this year. And hopefully it all ends soon so I could feel like I'm being a bit more productive.
Hmm. Well, on that token, I think one of the good things about this year has been quarantine in the sense that I do understand that it makes life a bit boring in terms of like we legit have nothing to do but stay inside. But it has also given us a chance to really slow down and think because that's really the thing about life and how fast paced it moves. Like you're always just moving through life so quickly with school. Like it's legit just wake up, brush your teeth, shower, go to school, do homework, maybe play video games for a while, go to sleep, repeat that for like a couple of days. Like on the weekend, maybe, I don't know, go out with your friends if they can. Because with us at this rate, we're like 17, so parents feel some type of way about that. But now in quarantine, it really just gives us all a chance to slow down and reevaluate not only things about ourselves, but things about other people, your relationships with other people. Maybe they've strengthened, maybe they've lessened, maybe you know exactly where you stand. I know particularly with one of my friends, I was really trying to I was really trying to feel out yeah, what we were or where we stood. And in quarantine, I feel like we've established that and I've come to terms with that. And yeah, like I said, it's just given us time to really just think about what's happened, what's going to happen, and uh, when we eventually get back to what would be considered normal life, just look around and appreciate it more. Like I've took the time to go on walks. That's not something I could do. Well, that's not something I did even. Well, that's not something I did before quarantine. But when I do it in quarantine with masks, obviously have to stay safe. I feel like it's calming. Definitely is calming to just go for a walk and get some fresh air. So yeah, this quarantine has been negative, but it can have some positive depending on the outlook.
Now, I know I just spent some time kind of shitting on quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
but brought up something that I actually agreed with, and I was going to say for a positive, despite how, oh well, what's her face just texted me. But anyway, um, that whole thing of seeing where you stand with relationships and, how strong some bonds are, whatever, because again, even though it's been probably the most boring time of my life, quarantine has allowed me to just kind of fix some old friendships and relationships that might have ended on some sour terms or very abruptly. And it's partially because obviously I have nothing else to do. So I just had time to put into fixing that stuff, which is something I can appreciate despite the fact that I can't do shit else. It's like, will those friendships or whatever get back to the point that they used to be at? Who fucking knows, really? I don't know if you censor any of this stuff. I just realized, like, do you put any bleeps or am I just cursing and
No,
we
no,
hear it?
I don't put any bleeps into it.
Oh, okay. Fuck. Anyway,
Like, I mean, if you could restrain, but if you do, I'm not gonna censor it.
anyway. Yeah, it's like, while I don't appreciate being cooped up in my house, in my little ass room with my wooden backdrop, I don't know if y'all can see that past my big ass head. But while I don't appreciate sitting here doing nothing that much, I can appreciate what I've gotten out of it in terms of my personal life, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you. All right, so we just ran through two positives, and so let me come back with a negative. And like, I didn't know what to necessarily call it, but in my notes I have written down the hoopla about sports. And what I mean by that is obviously with the whole COVID situation, a lot of major sports leagues have been canceled. Talking the not the MLB, but the NBA, they had to cancel mid-season mostly. A lot of soccer leagues had to cancel. So it's a whole big thing of we have no more sports and nobody knows when it will be coming back really, because the NBA is targeting a return for July 31st and the MLB is targeting a return, well, a season for July 23rd after, again, a whole lot of hoopla about the agreements between the Players Association and the owners. But there's been a huge topic of discussion, especially around the NBA, about is it worth it to come back? Because for those who don't know, the NBA are trying to incorporate a bubble in Disneyland Disneyland or Disney World, the Disney park in Orlando, where dang, it's gonna be players and they're gonna have like an 8-game regular season, go into the playoffs, and have all these other guidelines, right? But some players are either A, getting coronavirus, like your Jabari Parkers, Malcolm Brogdon's, um, Nikola Jokic's, or they think it's not worth the benefit, like a Davis Bertans or Avery Bradley. And they're for good reasons too. So it's just a whole thing about no one knows what sports is going to be like. And obviously, no fans. That's really the main thing, because we don't know how sports is going to be different without the fans. Like, imagine watching a playoff game with no home crowd, you know? So it's going to be different. And specifically in the NBA, a lot of well, not even that, but a lot of players are going to be rusty, because you could say, oh, well, they have training camps, they have the 8 games to warm up, but nothing is really like just being in the motions of a season and then having to stop midway. It's not like the other lockouts where they just legit didn't stop. Well, like they didn't stop. Like, it maybe took them a while to begin. When they did, they went all the way through like a normal season would. So yeah, the hoopla around sports is crazy, and let's just see what happens. It's gonna be interesting to watch for the summer.
Okay, I feel like I have a little bit to say on all of that because I don't have another negative to throw out there yet. To really touch on again the hoopla of sports or whatever, I really wanted to talk about the whole Avery Bradley thing to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on Twitter a lot. As you know, I get a lot of stuff from Twitter. And I don't appreciate the Lakers and LeBron fans that are out there kind of trashing the guy because he's on a championship contending team and doesn't want to play, because I feel like either people don't care about his reason or didn't actually open up an article and read to see what his reasoning was. So I don't know if you know either, actually.
I I I think I remember something about it, but I'm gonna let you explain it because I don't want to take away from your point.
His his child is like, he has some type of issues when it comes to like breathing or whatever, something like that, or some like respiratory issues or whatever. Obviously, making him more like susceptible. Is that a word? I don't know.
Vulnerable.
More vulnerable. Thank you. To die if he's infected with COVID-19. So he doesn't want to go out, risk catching it, and then potentially bring it back to his son and, I almost cursed again, and kill him. And I feel like it's very selfish for Lakers fans and LeBron fans to be like, oh, this is your job. Oh, you're on a contender. Oh, this could be our year. At the end of the day, and Avery, I'm pretty sure said this himself. I would have to find it somewhere. But he plays basketball for his family. It's not he has a family and plays basketball. Like, oh my God, I don't even know how to say it. It's like, you know what I mean, though. He
Yeah,
does this to produce for his family.
and it's like,
And
as I'm sorry to cut you off, but for as thirsty as Lakers fans are for a championship, no championship is worth a human life if that child does die, if Avery brings it back. Imagine how guilty you would be as a father that you willingly decide to go into an NBA bubble for your job, mind you, and it does support it, but you bring back an illness that ultimately kills your son. Then people will be like, well, it was his fault for going there in the first place. And it's just, you can never win with the internet, really.
to me, it's a whole thing of, I just think a lot of people on the internet expect this whole bubble thing to just be very smooth sailing. I don't know how you can expect it I don't know how you can expect to gather hundreds of people in an amusement park area together, right? And not think that at least one person is going to catch it. And even if it is one out of, I'm assuming, what, the hundreds of thousands of NBA players you get there is still a chance that that one person is Avery Bradley. So imagine Avery gets it, and then he brings it home to his family after being away from them. What would probably be like, what, 3 months maybe? I don't know. I think it's ridiculous for Lakers fans and just basketball fans in general to feel some type of way for people not playing, you know, because of having concern for their families.
Yeah, for sure. And that just goes into the ignorance part of misinformation and ignorance, because people are so caught up in what's really not that important in the grand scheme of things. But shoot,
And
let
then
me.
to touch on the whole no fans thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, obviously, it's just not going to be the same experience. Now, I personally don't watch, wrestling live. Like, I'm not here watching WWE on live television every single night or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really apparent that you know, without an audience there to add to the experience, it's been kind of crappy for being real. Like, I don't know. I just feel like bringing this stuff back kind of is a mistake. And if you just look at WWE, they've got like what, 2,000 people who caught it?
I don't think it was 2,000. I think it was like 2 dozen.
Oh, 2 dozen. Ah, same difference. 2,000, 2 dozen, basically the same thing. Both got two.
Imagine. Be like, yes, can I
Yeah,
get 2,000 eggs? I'm sorry? Yes. You mean 2 dozen? Ah, what's the difference?
like, but regardless of my misinformation, oh wow, that ties into what you said. Regardless, it's just, in my opinion, it's way too dangerous to restart this stuff with people's lives at risk with this stuff.
Shoot, yeah, I get you. But let me go into a positive. Well, into my final positive. I'd say, I know this is not generally your field of expertise, but for me, music has been pretty great in 2020. And compared to last year, because I'd say last year they had some good projects, but I'm gonna just run through the projects that I personally think were good from 2020 that I've listened to so far. You have The Revenge of the Dreamers Deluxe, Meet the Woo 2 by Pop Smoke, Afterworld by Brent Fires, Unlocked by Denzel Curry. I know you're not going to agree with me on this, but PTSD by G Herbo, Eternal Atake, Heaven and Hell, Eternal Atake by Lil Uzi, Heaven and Hell by Don Toliver, Eternal Atake Deluxe or Lil Uzi Vert vs. the World 2, My Turn by Lil Baby, After Hours by The Weeknd, The New Toronto 3 by Tory Lanez, Drake's mixtape, Polo G's To Go High Off Life, Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs, My Turn to Love. It's like so much good projects have come out in 2020, and I think it's been great. Yo, is this nigga sleeping, bro? Like, are you good?
Yeah, you done yet?
Yo, No, but I really think compared to last year, it's been good, and there's still more to come. Drake hasn't dropped his album yet. I know J. Cole apparently is going to drop an album. We're all waiting on Kendrick to drop one. So yeah, I think I find that really disrespectful. Wait, nah, let me stop. But yeah, I think it was a great year for music.
Okay, now that this boring ass nigga's done. Yeah, sure.
But my one problem, and to that token, my one problem with music this year has been the deluxe editions of music. Jesus Christ. Like, I'd say out of most of those albums, I'd say half of them have a deluxe version. And some of them weren't even that great. Which is a problem for me.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've got really nothing to say on this. I legit only listen to, I guess, mainstream shit, if you want to say. It's like, and like, even uh, if I did listen to more music or whatever, that's a
Mm-hmm.
big ass yawn. But even if I did listen to more music, this just isn't a topic that I dive too deep into. If I'm being real, it's like, except G Herbo, that nigga stinks.
Yeah, it's like you just don't like G Herbo. And
There's three things in this world that I hate the most. Number three is G Herbo. Number two is people named Wyatt. And number one, and most importantly, is the state of Wyoming, because I don't think that honestly exists. Like, I know it's on the map, and I know it's part of the United States, but I don't think it exists.
gotta go to Wyoming one of these days.
Why would I ever do that to myself?
For
Like,
reasons.
in Wyoming to go there for?
One reason?
Oh, please.
I mean, if you want to find like a peace of mind, just go get into nature. I don't see why not. I wouldn't personally do it, but true.
And oh my god, I know Wyoming.
All right, but we have reached basically the end of our topics. So I want to introduce
I
a. Oh,
think
continue.
most I've sounded on one of these.
I'm sorry. Repeat that. Your audio cut in and out.
I, the most ridiculous I've sounded on one of these, but this really is just because I had nothing prepared, and I'm again just shooting from the hip with all this shit.
Yeah, but I want to introduce a new segment. For those who don't know, right? There's a subreddit called "Am I the Asshole?" and it is people painting scenarios, well, not even painting, telling their stories of what they do and trying to figure out if they're the asshole. So I'm going to read one of these subreddits right now. And
Can I just state I was not aware of this? Um, how am I, somebody on this consistently, and I don't get told about new segments?
I'm sorry, you got told about this one and you were still unprepared. So would that have been
I
much
mean,
better?
10 minutes before we hopped in this.
I mean, it's not really something you need to prepare for. It's legit. Do you think that they're the asshole and not? Pretty
I
simple.
knew I contract.
Anyway,
What is he paying me for?
Yeah, I'm not paying you at all. This shit does not get monetized. Anyway, it says, am I the asshole for not waking my girlfriend up for her exam after I overheard her calling me a little B word? I'm not going to say it, but yeah. And then he goes on to explain, this might be a long one, so I don't want to hear you sleeping like a dork. But yeah. My girlfriend has online summer courses, and she had an exam for one of them this morning. I usually wake her up for pretty much everything because she sleeps through her phone alarm no matter how long it buzzes or how many she sets. She has joked that I'm her butler before it, and within the context of a relationship, it's okay, so I didn't mind. Obviously, I want to love my partner and try to make life easy for her. However, last night she was chatting with her friend, and she thought I couldn't hear. She was bragging that I'm her little B word and I do everything for her when she tells me to. It really hurt my feelings because they were making comments like, good, put him in his place, and she was agreeing. She specifically said, yeah, I'm not worried about tomorrow because the B word will make sure I'm up and he'll probably have breakfast ready for me too. I went to bed pretty hurt by it, and come morning, I didn't bother to wake her up when her alarm started to go. She usually only gets up when someone physically shakes her, but I let her turn off her alarm, and she slipped back into sleep, and I turned around and went back to sleep too. When she woke up, she was yelling at me saying I'm an asshole and I've cost her exam. I've cost her exam and I'm a piece of shit for what I did. Edit, sorry for not responding sooner. I wrote this up on my break at work and now I have to get back to it. Can't have my phone. I wasn't expecting this many replies so fast. He goes on to say, I think we're breaking up. I told her this morning after she called me a B word for being upset. Reply being called, I don't even know what she's trying to say here, but she said that she's not done with me. I'm just trying to get through today's shift and then deal with stuff later. I'll try and get back as I can. We've been together for a year. It was my first real relationship, but I'm tired of her not acknowledging how shitty she made me feel and still calling me a B word. The word is really making me feel shit and small. So, is he or isn't he? I think this is pretty clear cut.
But I guess that's the whole point of this subreddit. Nah, I understand where he was coming from with that. It's like, I do feel like it was a bit, I don't want to say childish.
Petty, sure.
It, definitely very petty to, not wake her up for something as important as one of her exams. But at the same time, if you are in a relationship with somebody, you shouldn't be talking about them like that. It's like, I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care how upset you are or whatever. She wasn't even upset, which is the crazy part. I feel like if you are in a relationship with somebody, there should be enough respect between the two of you that, you're just not going out talking about the other like that.
Right. I think the mature thing. Go ahead. My fault. I think the mature thing to do would have been to.
However, I
Yo.
feel like
We keep on cutting each other off. This is not coordinated.
Okay. However, I do feel like it would have, been a bit more mature, as you put it, to have still woken her up and then just tried to tell her about that after you woke her up and express how you felt to her. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I was just about to say the mature thing would have been to wake her up and then talk about it afterward. But at the same token, one, that's kind of her. Well, I don't know if it's a medical thing, but if you have to have someone wake you up and you're a full blown adult, I feel like that's something that you should work on. And two, I think he deserved it. You shouldn't be talking about someone who you call your significant other like that, especially for being nice. Like, oh, he wakes me up in the morning and he'll probably make me breakfast too because he's a nice guy. Like, what? How is that even a bad thing? It's like you need to get new friends and he needs to leave that relationship and find somebody who appreciates him. That's my view on it.
It's like, I get why he did it. I don't think he should have done it, but I get the frustration behind it. So I can sympathize with him, and I'd say he's not the asshole in this one.
And to the user didn't wake up girlfriend, so this is a throwaway for this is a throwaway account. To that user, no, you are not the asshole. And I hope you find somebody who treats you better than that previous girlfriend did. Anyway, that comes the end of our podcast. I'm pretty sure we went for maybe an hour, I'd like to say. I think we started this at 3:40 and it's 4:36. But thank you. Well, before I log off, let me just look at the YouTube views of our last one because I know it got a little bit.
I'm jacking that it was 6.
Uh, do, do, do. My channel. We've gotten 16 views. So, overall, thank you to all the 16 people that listened, that watched. I didn't check the SoundCloud views or the Anchor views. I'm assuming that those people that listened before just tuned in and watched. So thank you. Hopefully we'll have another one soon, but I have to give back this laptop tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you for listening to two idiots talk about whatever, really. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day and enjoy yourself, people. Remember that, and let's hope that 2020 gets a lot better because I think we all need it.
And if you couldn't tell already, he is definitely the better speaker out of the two of us.